Game 2 of a 4-5 matchup in the first round. And the bleep Trae Young chants were going on well before that game even started. Again, this guy's played one playoff game in his career, and he beat the Knicks doing it. And the Knicks fans have already lost their bleeping minds. I mean, he's not just in their heads. He's like completely taken control of their bodies. And he's certainly taken control of their brains because some Knicks fans were allegedly handing out pamphlets to fans at MSG with a new chant for the night. And that paper read, tonight's chant is, Trae is balding. Trae is balding. Ordinarily, I would say that is the most hack thing ever. But it's not, because it gets even worse. There was an explanation for why that was going to be the chant of the night. Quote, at only 22 years old, Trae's hair is thinning at an alarmingly fast pace, and he has a bald spot forming on the crown of his head. This will be a much more effective chant to take advantage of home court and throw Trae off his game. End quote. When did New York City go from being like the coolest place in the world to the corniest place on earth? The mayor is complaining about foul calls, and people are allegedly handing out organized chants like it's high school. And by the way, that's the thing you settled on, his hair. This guy just destroyed you in your house in game 1. And the best thing you can come up with is that he has jacked lettuce. I mean, far be it from me to say don't run smack. I'm not saying that. I would never say that. After all, my handle is Van Smack. But there's a right way and a wrong way, and that attempt was all kinds of wrong. Handing out sheets of paper, instructing your fellow fans to pile on some dude for his hair is pretty much the lamest thing ever. Yeah, I mean, so dude does not have the thickest, most luxurious lettuce ever. The hell is your point? You're going to clown this guy for that. That's what you're going to bring to this throwdown. That's what you're bringing to this fister. Lettuce smack. Printed out and distributed lettuce smack. That's what's going down in the most hallowed building in the world. I mean, holy crap, Knicks fan, really? And why do I think that the dopes printing and passing those pages aren't exactly rocking heads of lettuce like Trevor Lawrence or Fabio? Man, you wait all this time for your team to actually return to the postseason. You fight through the entire pandemic to get back into that house, and that's the best you can do. Hair smack. I mean, if that's the best that you can do better, much better, because you really cannot do any worse. And wouldn't you know it, Trae hears it, Trae comes out, and Trae immediately gets after it. Step back 3, and talking into the crowd. This dude's just not going to back down. He's not backing down at all. You can come at this guy with obscenities, complaints from the mayor, hair smack. He's just going to keep lighting you up. And yes, I've seen the video of a fan allegedly spitting on Trae Young. I can't say if that's definitely a loogie flying through the air, but it looks like it's something. And if that's what that is, if that's what that allegedly is, and that really is what happened, then that's reprehensible and it's disgusting. And there is no place for it. We already know exactly what that represents. It's one of the worst things you can do. One of the worst things a person can do to another person. Now, I don't know if that's somebody spitting on him or not. I don't know that. I just know it better not be. Because, again, if it is, that is the worst. That's not a home court advantage. That's revolting. That's shameful. You can chant bleep Trae Young all you want. You can crack him for his hair, although it's corny and lame as hell. But if you spit on this guy or anybody, you're a reprehensible scumbag and should not be allowed back in the building. If that's what happened, I don't know. Back to the game itself. You know, the Knicks fans were freaking out when their team went down 15 in the first half. But then in the second half, when Atlanta stuck with the bench for a long time, maybe too long, the Knicks came alive. All right, so as corny and as weak as everything Knicks fans did before that game, when that building is rocking, there is nothing like it. Nothing like it. Forget the Trey is balding chants. That's the electricity you want. It's undeniable. Twitter nearly broke because of the tweets about the Garden crowd. Everybody was in on it, even LeBron. And then the comeback was about guys like Derrick Rose, guys like Taj Gibson battling his ass off in the paint. That was a great second-half comeback. And Atlanta has to be kicking themselves because they had a chance to bury that team. 2-0 going back home. And for all the venom and maybe even some saliva the Knicks fans directed at Trae, it still had no effect. The guy still went for 30 and 7 assists in 35 minutes. And he's probably thinking that if he had played a few more minutes, he would have won that game and shut everybody up all over again. And he might be right. The only good thing about last night from an Atlanta standpoint is that it gave this series even more juice. And it means we're definitely going to get Trae back in the Garden, and that's a good thing. As for you, Knick fan, man, settle down. I get it. It's new. You have not been in the playoffs with a good shot at advancing in years. It's been a while. There's a lot of nervous, pent-up energy. You don't know what to do with yourself. You don't know what to do with the opportunity. Normally, I would say act like you've been there before, but you haven't. Not in a very long time. What you want to do is just get a grip. Get a grip and hold on tight. You know, like Jeff Van Gundy holding on to Alonzo Mourning's leg back in the day. Wild stuff at the Garden.